We are back on Morning Line, joined this morning by Metro Vice Mayor Jim Shulman. You're invited to join in the conversation, 737-7587, talking the rebound, phase 1 in Metro. We should say one of our regular callers who's called in to talk to you as well, Jim, of late is Reverend Enoch Fuzz, a good friend of mine going back years. Met him through Larry Britton. But you and I were both talking to the break that the Reverend's been under the weather and actually hospitalized now for several days. And just say right up front, I know you've talked to him, I have, it is not COVID-19. But he has said that he's suffering from some type of pneumonia and is battling it. And I just want to send out wishes to Reverend Fuzz. And he sounds good. What have you heard from him?
Yeah, I didn't talk to him. I texted with him, but he felt like he was going to be released fairly soon. So hopefully he's already out, and he may be watching. Good. And he's a very important part of this city. Yeah. He steps out quite a bit. Says things, sometimes they're controversial, sometimes they're not, but he's very engaging and very much kind of a key to helping make this city work, and yeah. I hope he feels better.
Yeah, me too. He's a man who deals with a lot of serious issues, and you're right, speaks out. He's got a light spirit about him. You cannot help but like that man. Anyway, I wish him well, and if he's watching or if you know him, send regards to him. But yeah, I hope you're right that he's out now. And it was pneumonia, not COVID-19, but get well soon. Let's take a few phone calls, and we'll go next to Linda. Linda, good morning. Hi, Linda.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Morning.
I'm kind of like Ann. Ann was a teacher in Metro schools. I was a teacher in Metro schools. The area that I taught in is in the high area of the south Nashville, southeast Nashville. And I have had surgery, and I am able to drive, but I haven't gone into the grocery stores, but my sister did. And we went to a grocery store in that southeast Nashville area because we were in the area, and it was amazing the families that were out and in the high-risk areas. And I just don't understand. I don't think that I think Metro needs to do some of these broadcasts in Spanish. So and hopefully get to them. Either they're not getting it or they're not getting the information.
Interesting. Maybe you can comment on that. I had also gotten some calls from people talking about the Amish community, many of them down in like Lawrence County and such, and they're not around media that much, and they were wondering if they were getting the message. And I checked on that, and they said those folks are through certain outreach that's there, and they're aware of what's going on. But yeah, maybe those who have English for a second language, perhaps, and maybe not as informed as others.
Yeah.
What can Metro do in that regard?
Well, so good points. I was actually watching something last night, and there was a commercial in Spanish about taking proper safeguards. Okay. That Antioch area, and I know there's council members who are very, very concerned, the council members from that area. If you look at the heat index, the heat map, there is a large outbreak in that southeast area. And so they're trying to get word out. They're trying to make sure people have masks and so forth. We can always do better. But this is where, is it on the website? Yes. Is it on the news? Yes. But you would think, basically, Nick, you're around this all day, and so am I. So you kind of going like, how could people not know? But the question is, do people know and they just don't understand all the safeguards? Do they not have masks? And obviously the counties are now, this county is actually starting to provide masks to everybody as well. How do you get them out? This goes back in some ways, I think, to what Ann and Linda were both saying, and that is, it's part of our responsibility in a friendly way to remind people about social distancing. We talked about this, I think, last time when somebody gets a little closer than 6 feet, it's like your first thing is to back up. You're not trying to be rude, it's just now that's in our head. It may be in our head for a while like that. And if you see people without masks, you kind of go around them. But you really want to know why people, again, we talked about this just a few minutes ago, if they can get a mask on and practice social distancing, God, we're so much further ahead if they will do that.
And I'm sure there's some people watching today that maybe can weigh in on maybe why they're choosing not to wear a mask, and I've heard several reasons why folks say this. I get the sense to some degree, you're right, Jim, it's maybe that they're not certain groups getting all the information, but two, that now that things are opening, and as I see families, I've seen those things she's seen, and it's not necessarily those folks with the English of the second language. Families out there with children and no masks whatsoever, and it's almost as though they're treating it like now you would during any flu season. And they're like, I don't get the flu during the regular year anyway. I'm going to just be out here. I'm going to do my thing. Like the flu, I don't wear masks, and this is like the flu to me, and they're lifting the restrictions, and I'm not going to wear a mask. It's kind of in their mind. And I don't think maybe it's clear enough in their head how this is different from the flu. And there's going to be someone that's going to call and go, Nick, flu kills more. This is more fatal than the flu. It's more serious than the flu, and it's more contagious than the flu. And yet people are viewing, every year I go through, I never get the flu. I'm going to do the same thing I do every year anyway. I'm going to be fine. I don't know. It's like they just don't trust. They don't believe, and they want to do their own thing. And I just keep waiting till they do their own thing, and then they find out flat on their back, struggling to breathe, and some of them are going to die.
Well, and I don't know how you how you get the message out stronger. So we had talked about this last time as well. There's a bill floating through the council that requires essential workers to have to wear masks. It got deferred last time. My guess is it'll pass eventually, but how do you enforce that?
Yeah.
We're going to have people run around and call the police on people who are not wearing. No. I think the point, though, is that, again, it's a simple thing, wear a mask, but how do you, I don't know, I'm thinking through this, this concept of Davidson County particularly, how do we get everybody engaged to do what they're supposed to? There's going to be people that won't, but how do you get people? I even saw an email that said, I'm not going to go to, from an individual who said, I'm not going to go into any store if they're wearing masks. It's like, well, then just don't go anywhere then, because everybody should be wearing masks. I mean, it's like, why? It's like, why take the chance? So I don't know. These callers, good questions. As you know, when people call in, I start thinking about this stuff, and they're trying to make this stuff better. You got to think about it and try to figure out how to do it.
Let's go to Daryl. Daryl, good morning. Hi, Daryl.
Hi.
Go ahead, Daryl.
Okay, I have a quick question. The stats reveal a whole lot of information, but the statistic I'd like to see everybody turn out is the active cases. I want to know how many sick people running around me, and people that's not wearing masks, they're just saying, hey, we don't care about your health.
Right.
Hey, I'll shut up and listen to y'all. Thank you very much.
That's the trick. I'm with him. That's what I'd like to know. And the problem is, we know there are people out there that are asymptomatic, meaning they're not showing any symptoms. So they could walk by Daryl or I, and we wouldn't know. And that's the idea of wearing a mask. The mask is not to protect you. I mean, it may provide some protection a bit here. But the main thing is the mask is on there so that you protect others in case you have it, that you're not spreading it to someone else. That's really what the mask is about. So when I view people not wearing masks, I view it not that, oh, well, they're brave, they don't care if they get it. I view them as being selfish because they don't care if they're asymptomatic and spread it to someone else. That's my take.
Well, that's why, again, masks are so important. So I talked to Dr. Wright Pinson on Saturday. He's a, chief health officer at Vanderbilt, like their number 2 person over there, and I was going make sure I understand what asymptomatic means. It's my understanding asymptomatic means that you may have it and just not show any symptoms. It's like, is there anything that you would know that you might have it but be asymptomatic? And I guess you can get tested, but if you're not going to get tested, you don't know. So again, Daryl's exactly right. You're walking around and you could see somebody, see an old friend, they could be fine or seem fine, but they could be carrying this virus. And if you don't practice the proper safeguards, you could pick it up through no fault of the individual, except maybe they're not wearing a mask.
Right.
And
they don't know they're
so tricky.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah, if you have it, you would not know it, and that's the thing. So it's innocent enough that way. But then if you're protecting your so that it doesn't go out, you can protect others from getting it from you. Let's go next to John. John, good morning. Hi, John.
Hi.
What's on your mind?
How are you?
Good.
Mine's a very simple question. Okay, and I'm not understanding the answers I'm getting all through the YouTube and through the website for IRS. Here's my question. I am on Social Security retirement.
Mm-hmm.
I get my money from them, the insurance money, the retirement money from Social Security through Direct Express every month on the 3rd.
Okay.
And they're telling me, I'm hearing two different ways to it. Do I have to get a hold of them and put all my information on there, or do I have to just wait for them to send me
So you're
the
still waiting.
$1,200?
So you're waiting. They have not. And so you have a direct deposit into a check. And is your Express
No,
card?
it's Direct Express.
What is that? Is that a card?
card.
It goes to your card, and that's not linked to a bank in any way, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, so what I would say, and Jim, I mean, I've talked to a lot of Social Security folks, is
Right.
that, and you can second this, is that some cards do get direct deposit, okay? Some don't. I've heard from different people. But I do know that Social Security, depending on certain cards, especially those that are not directly linked to a bank account and maybe are linked somehow to a credit card or something like that, they're not sending the direct deposit to some of those cards. And some of you are going to say, Nick, I have a card and I got it. So some do, some don't. You may have one of those cards. They don't choose to send it to Express. And if that's the case, you will get your check in the mail. Now, you will get a check. You qualify. I mean, there's no question. But if you haven't received it yet, direct deposit, my guess is you're probably going to get one mailed to you. That's it, because it's not attached to a bank. Again, it could suddenly show up. Keep checking your accounts. But some cards, Social Security will not send, or the IRS will not send the money to a card. And it's not entirely clear to me exactly which ones do or don't, except that the ones that are linked to a bank account do get it. Those that don't, like Express, sometimes do, sometimes don't. And I don't know why it's that way, but that could be the delay for you.
Yeah, the only thing I can add is that if it takes, if you're worried about it, or if you wait a couple more days or something and you still haven't heard anything, then because it's a federal issue, I would tell people to call their congressman, call Jim Cooper. His office is exceptional. Just give his office a call and ask them if they can make sure, and they could probably run a check and see where you are in the system. State issues, you can certainly call the Department of Health. On local issues, you call our health department or the mayor's office. You can call us at the council office. But this is a federal issue. I would call Congressman Cooper's office and see what they can find out.
Go to the break, the one last thing I would throw out, caveat for folks out there that are saying, look, is there a way I can avoid having to wait for the paper checks being mailed out? Because maybe you don't have a direct deposit for something, or maybe you don't have your tax returns go direct deposit. You have till the 13th of this month to go to irs.gov and go to that one section where it says, non-filer, or section where it says track my check, and you can go in there now, and if you have a bank account, you can put your checking bank account number in, and again, this is a secure IRS site, and the money then will be direct deposited into your account, into that checking account. You can still get online and do that. If you have a bank, put that in now, and you will get your check far faster than you will if you're waiting for a paper one. Some people may not get their paper checks until September, so that's something to think about. We'll take a break. We'll be back. A bunch of calls for you, Jim. The phone line's open. He's going to be with us for another segment here, and we'll continue taking your calls right after this.